now 7 o'clock. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the April 20th, 2022 meeting of the Town of Warren Zoning Board of Review. I'm the chair, Andrew Ellis. Roll call to make sure we have a quorum. To my right is Jason Nystrom, and Michael Elves, Barrett Holby, the vice chair, Dave Francis, the alternate position, and Chuck Thibodeau. The alternate may participate, ask questions during the hearing, but will not vote. He will be available if the matter is continued to a future date and one of the regular members needs to recuse. Also tonight, Mr. Elves, who is usually an alternate, will be a voting member since one of the regular members is out of town. I will just ask that we conduct the hearing in an orderly, professional fashion. If anyone has something they wish to say at the appropriate time, they can raise their hand or be recognized by the chair, and we can invite you to provide a comment. Please, any comments that are given, try to stay on the topic of a specific application. Don't try to stray from other matters. We want to remain focused on only the facts that are pertinent to the application. So having determined there was a quorum, the first matter is to approve the minutes of our previous meeting from March 6th. Email. Does anyone have any comments or second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The minutes for March 16th. We have no items under old business, so we can jump right into new business. Item 1, application 22-07, Stephen and Theodora Papa, owners and applicants. 42 Maple Street, Plat 15C, Lot 7, request for dimensional variance under 3277 to construct an addition and farmer's porch to less than required front and side yard setbacks and to exceed the maximum lot coverage on a legal non-conforming lot in the R10 district. Would someone like to come forward? Thank you. Podium, please identify. Please identify yourself by name and address so the stenographer.
My name's Stephen Papa. The house. I'm sorry, owner of the house, Steve Papa.
Okay. So give the board a description of the improvements you're planning to make to your house and describe why you need relief under the dimensional.
Okay. Well, from what I understand, it's a legal non-conforming lot, so I have to ask for the variance on anything I do. And I'm trying to put a farmer's porch with dormers on the front and the back. There's already a dormer on the back, half dormer, and a small addition on the ground backyard, which I have the backyard footage, so I need relief from the sides and the front.
And what is the amount of relief you're asking for specifically? Describe that.
As far as like I'm asking for 8 feet out front into the farmer's porch, and on the back, I mean on the sides, I'm not going out on the sides, but I need relief because one side I believe is 13.5 and the other side is 7 feet to my neighbors. So it's basically more for the front, I guess, that I'm asking, because the house wouldn't change on the sides. And
And you also have lot coverage on ground you're taking up. Speak briefly to that.
Yeah, I have it in the thing. Some, I think it's what you allow 20%, you know, I forget what I was asking for. I'd be asking for, I think the lot coverage you could have is 20%, so I'd be asking for 29, so I'd be asking for 9% more, I guess. My numbers are correct. And as far as there's some plans there that are preliminary plans of something that we would like to do, But on the gist of it, that would be, pretty much what we'd like to do is like the dormers up top, make maybe one more bedroom upstairs, excuse me, and downstairs, the back would be like a living room going out into the backyard.
So is the addition going out to the back,
Yes,
taking up the area where the current deck is located?
correct. It would replace exactly that, yes. I think it's exactly the same footage.
So then is the only increase in lot coverage due to the farmer's porch? The
Yeah,
deck would have been counted already.
yeah, yes, correct. I didn't know how you did that, so I wasn't sure, so I added that in. So actually, yes, it would be less than that because of footage of the porch in the back.
I just want to make, this is Mr. Nystrom. I just want to make sure. So are you telling us that, because I'm looking at one of the pages of the plan, your
Yep.
plans, and you have, I think it's the last page. You've got a dotted line showing the existing deck outline, but then the proposed master bedroom does exceed that. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Yeah, I think it's I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think it's 16 by 20 is the porch, and the thing that I'm asking is 20 by 20 in the back. That's what you were asking, right? In the
Yeah, no,
back?
so I just wanted to clarify, because you said before that,
Yeah, I think I know the porch is 16 by 20, but I'm asking, it's, in other words, so it would be this, it would go out 3-4 more feet out into the yard, but it would even the house. The porch doesn't go, so in the back, if you can't really see it, but, or maybe you could, from the bulkhead to the edge of the house, it would go, so it wouldn't take up any more into the Nick's side of the house.
yeah, no, I understand.
Okay.
Your proposed addition, it'll be flush with one of the sides. All I just wanted to clarify was, I believe earlier you said that the addition is the same square footage as the existing deck, but based on the plan you've got, the proposed addition is actually larger than what the
It's,
existing.
yeah, I
is.
think it's 20 by 20 is the addition. And
I just wanted to
yeah,
clarify.
yeah, and the porch, you're correct, and the porch is 16 by 20.
So you're comfortable that the 29% lot coverage is the amount you're going to have?
Correct. If you add that in, I added in the porch.
All right, so what's the total, this is the existing deck with the kitchen on it, with the sunroom?
Yeah, basically. So the deck right now in the back is 16 by 20, and it would be 20 by 20 is what I'm asking for on the porch. Oh, I mean the addition, sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like 15 by 20. But I don't know if that's really relevant. I can make sure the total square footage calculation is accurate. We know that the addition off the back is 20 by 20, that's 400 square feet right there. And the original house looks like it's 20 and 24 by 31 or
It's like they're almost 32 feet, I think.
There's this little porch off the side.
No, that's just the stairwell.
Well, that counts.
Oh, okay, I don't, okay,
Something like that.
okay.
size of the lot to start with?
56 something, 55 something, 54.
54 and 19. About 26.
26%, okay. Because I added in porch and stuff. So I'm asking for 6%.
I'll say it's in the realm of 26%. But it's by the dimensions on this. There's no other structures. Right?
There's a shed in the back, that's
Oh,
it.
we have a shed.
It's on the,
And how big is the shed?
the shed is, I think it's 100 and something square feet, yeah.
193.
Yeah. I don't know, I didn't do the math, my wife did.
We should have said that in the first place.
If it was me, you wouldn't even come to those numbers.
All right, fine, so it's 29. And so then the setbacks on the side, they're already non-conforming, but the new addition is going to line up.
Exactly with the same, yes.
And.
And
in
it
the
wouldn't go
front,
to the other side, actually. On the driveway side, it wouldn't even go that far.
On the front, you're encroaching 8 feet plus a couple of steps on the front.
Yes. So it would kind of conform to everybody else's on the street. They all have the same porch,
Yeah, so I know.
or same type of porch, yeah.
Yeah, when I visit that street.
Yeah.
The numerous houses that also have farmers porches.
Correct, yes.
Some are open, some are,
Yes.
there's quite a few houses, including the house right next door here has a similar type.
Yeah, one has one on each side of me, yes. One's enclosed on the one side of me and one's not.
So I just want to note a discrepancy within the tables here. It looks like it says 20 by 21 and 4 inches, and on another page, it's 20 by 20, that addition. So
On
just for the record.
What do you have?
On page 2, I believe, it says, you can see it stated here, and then illustrated here, and then on,
this I
addition
have-
page, it's
this
20 by
this
20.
is the original, this is what he did, then I had it superimposed because they needed to find out what the street was, I
Sure.
guess, the difference, and then put in what I was proposing. Yeah, it's 20 by 20.
20 by 20.
Yeah, it's 20 by 20.
Thank you.
It's whatever it's on here. but-
This says 20 by 22.
Yeah,
That's
this
what,
should be, yeah, sorry.
thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
Board have other comments or questions? Okay, are there any members of the public who want to offer any comments on this application? Anyone? Okay. Back to the applicant, do you have anything else you'd like to add to this application?
No, not at this time. I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to find out what I can and can't do. I have kids and I'm just trying to get a little bit bigger space in there, or try not to water the neighborhood. That's about it.
And you felt that this design was sort of the minimum amount of space you needed to accommodate your family and allow you to stay.
Correct. It would give me like a little bit, like an office bedroom upstairs and a little bit bigger living room. The kids are growing and we got some kind of friends that people want to come over, so. But, yeah, that's basically the gist of it, yeah.
Any further follow-up questions or comments? Want to make a motion on this application?
request for a dimensional variance of 37. Addition to farmer's portion of 105 setback. District. The hardship due to the characteristics of the subject land structure. House is a little tight for family and basically least necessary. No, the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant, not result primarily from the desire to realize the favors by the king. Granting of variance to not alter the general character of the area. House on each side, similar in the same lot, three. Both have farmers porches, so it's full. Same format as the neighbors on each side of his house. And the back porch, just a little bit more room, space related to a family slash sunroom. And a relief request is least necessary. Most of the addition is actually marked up on the second floor. Didn't follow all the numbers, but looks like it went from 26% to 29%, right? Land, lot cover.
I would just say we can cover up to. Based on the plan.
I don't know.
Well, we did not grant the variance. Would be a hardship on the family and the growing family in any state. So,
I think this, Barrett hit that this would be the least relief necessary, but just in case we didn't hit that, there's been some testimony taken that Mr. Papa indicated that the proposed plans, this would be the minimum, or this, this is the least, smallest plan that he could come up with to satisfy.
Yeah, I didn't want to
his
make it,
needs.
I don't want to make it mammoth, I don't, plus, whatever, just, this is something enough to do what I gotta do.
Any other amendments or additions? Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is passed.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, thank you. Have a nice evening.
Good luck.
Year. Application 22-08, Beverly J. Dupre and Samantha Lee Trainer, owners, Beverly J. Dupre, the applicant, 29 Norbert Street, Plat 3, Lot 42, westward dimensional variance under 3277. Construct a shed that will exceed the maximum lot coverage on a legal non-conforming lot in the R6. Just someone here representing the family, yes, please come forward. And just, again, identify yourself or just or yourselves.
I'm Beverly Dupree. I'm a co-owner with my daughter of 29 Norbert Street in Warren. My husband, John Souza.
Okay. also the same address? I hope so. One never knows. So give us a brief description of what you'd like to do on the property and why there's a need. Oh, absolutely.
Basically, went shed up 8x10, super reason we need it. Mostly yard tools, lawnmowers, and that, which now, the problem is, big drainage problem, flooding problem, and that every time we get to everything, last night, water in the basement, so you get the stuff out of it. That's why we want the shed.
And so the current property, square footage that's covered on here, going to add to that and be in excess of the allowed cover that you're already in excess, correct? So you're adding on to a little bit more 80 square feet. Increase the lot coverage. And based on the plans that you've submitted here, you've shown that the shed, based on its location here, is meeting the setback requirement.
Correct.
It's just a matter of the square. Okay. And we note that there's an existing shed garage on the other side of the property, as well as decks, and that was all added up.
That was a, that's
Have any questions? The applicant or- Okay.
But site visit from the street, tough to look at, because the shed is bigger than the house, and it's 8x10.
well, we gotta add all that.
45 acres.
I was all in added in after.
So it's tough, and the lot is crowded with the garage there. You have cars on one side of the house, cars parked on the other side.
Correct.
You have the fence, is the shed gonna go up against the fence?
Shed's gonna go right up to the driveway to the left of the house.
So you-
Facing the house, the driveway on the left, the shed is coming up to that, the back of that driveway.
Is that where the fence is though, right?
Yes, correct,
So it's gonna be up to that fence on the other side of the fence.
correct. Well, the fence will come into,
Oh, I see. Like, have the wall of the shed part of the fence.
correct,
So the wall of the shed will form like the back edge of the driveway, and then the fence is coming like the boundary between the driveway and that
correct.
fence.
Then you have the pool. Water, things no problem.
No, not at all. Yeah, we've already lost one pump because of the flooding. The problem's been going on, I think it is another issue, but everybody just passes the buck on what they're gonna do with the drainage problem.
Oh, it's a very busy little backyard you have. Bill.
Oh, we know it is.
Well, I'm not
I don't.
surprised then. Are there other questions regarding the lot coverage issue?
Just regarding the size of the shed, you feel that the 80 square feet proposed, that's the smallest type of shed you guys could use to effectively get away with?
Yes.
Anything else at this time to the applicants? All right. So anyone in the public who'd like to offer any commentary on this application? This is your only chance. No takers this evening. So do you have anything further you'd like to offer the board with regard to this?
But, let it all, Jim.
Any final points of discussion or other questions? Clarifications needed of the applicant? Not, is someone ready with a motion on this application?
lot coverage. Subject land. Basement for that matter. House. Heavy rains. They flood, they have, pools and other stuff that's stored in the basement. Fit in the garage, shed. Part of the wall, the shed will be. Hardship is as a result of any prior action of the applicant. Get the tools in. General character of the surrounding area. Comprehensive plan. That's the last house on the right. Right doors down there. One was right in there. That's the driveway. Request is at least necessary. Hardship is more than it is. Hopefully, having a wet basement myself, a lot of things west down there, not granting us. Creating hardship. Supplies, tools, yeah. Yeah.
The motion. Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Nice from. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, your application passes unanimously. Good luck getting up out of your way. Next. Application 22-09. Joseph C. Granata and Laura G. Handwerger, trustees of Carolyn Chiffon Irrevocable Trust owners, and Gregory Collins, the applicant, at 6 Bridgewood Court, Plat 15B, Lot 264. Request for a dimensional variance under 3277, construction addition, less than the required side and rear yard setbacks, and to exceed the maximum lot coverage of a legal non-conforming lot of the R10. Would the applicant or the representative please come forward? Identify yourself, please,
Gregory Collins.
and your address would be
My address is 10 Ridgewood Court.
10. So, Mr. Collins, give us a description of what you would like to propose doing with this house and why there's a need for relief on setbacks and the amount of line.
Yeah, so my neighbor asked me if I would build an addition for her on her house. There's, most of that area right now is her back deck, but she has some medical conditions and she really doesn't go outside very much and she'd like to utilize that space. That house was left to her when her son passed, so that was his deck. So I said, sure. But the size of the lot over there, you know, the developer was put in the 60s. All of our houses don't meet, I don't even think the current setbacks at all right now. So she wanted to line up her addition with the garage, which I believe is 11 feet off the line. So
Looks
it's
like 12 on the
12, so just stay right in line and then it's pretty much, it's a little bigger than the footprint of the deck that's there now. And we wanted to tie the roofs in, so my brother-in-law designed it. So we wanted to make it, you know, go all the way out there so the gut is lined up, you know, some architectural considerations.
And so there's gonna be a small piece of deck to the back.
Yeah, just enough for her to put her gas grill and get down into her yard, you know.
just speak to uh, dimensions of the new proposed addition and why it needed to be that particular size or shape to accommodate what the client was looking for?
Yeah, I think she just, obviously it's a little bigger than the deck towards the property line on the side. And we, like I said, we thought we'd line it up with the garage for the look of it. And she's going a little beyond what the deck was in the back. She said to house all the furniture and what she wanted to do out there, that's what she felt was necessary.
And so given her physical needs,
Yeah.
that the design of the space here was put forward in order to accommodate how she was planning to utilize this. She was unable to utilize the deck.
Right, that's correct. That's correct.
Members have questions on this vision? Like tying the house to the garage a little nicer with the back. Everybody.
Yeah, correct.
Anyone in the public want to offer any input on this application? Oh, yes, please come forward. Identify yourself by name and address.
I'm Cynthia Saxena, and I live around the corner at 64 Seymour Street. And I just have questions about a couple of things. I'm wondering what the purpose of the room is going to be, because in our house, we have our bedrooms facing the back of our house, and we have a lot of trouble from neighbors who have various kinds of lights at night. And not from that house. But that's my main concern is drainage. There's very poor drainage in that area, and I have part of my yard that is constantly soaked in a heavy rain and just gets a lot of water from the next door directly behind my house. I just was hoping not to increase my problems with drainage and light.
Yes, we can respond to that. The new construction will have to be compliant with all the building and site requirements in the codes. And they'll have to contain any storm water that falls on their roof in their own property and not allow it to spill neighbors. So they'll have to address all of that within their own not create hardship. And with regard to the use of the room, you hear the applicant's explanation. It's going to be a living space, a large open living space. The client has some health issues, needed a more open, more planned area. Any other concerns? Okay. Are there any others in the public who want to offer any input on this? Okay, that looks like you're all set. Okay, board members, any further discussion regarding the hardship? Setback and coverage.
I can make
Oh.
Yeah, makes it a little easier. Thanks. I move approval of application number 22-09, Joseph C. Granata and Lauren G. Hanberger, trustees of the Carolyn Chicon Revocable Trust, owners and Gregory Collins applicant. 6 Ridgewood Court, plat map 15B, lot 264, request for a dimensional variance under sections 32-77. Construct an addition with less than required side and rear setbacks and to exceed the maximum lot coverage on a legal non-conforming lot in the R10 zoning district. In granting this petition, we note that there was hardship to the unique characteristics of the subject land. There's been some testimony taken that this is a non-conforming lot. So it's, the lot is smaller than the code currently has. So therefore, what they'd like to do, we're already in non-compliance. The hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant. It does not result from the primary desire to realize financial gain. There's been some testimony taken that the reason for this this project is that the owner of this land, suffers from a health condition and cannot otherwise utilize the existing deck, and thus is looking to have the larger, I believe in the plans it was called a great room, but an open space so that she can utilize more areas of her home. The granting of this variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, and it conforms to the purpose and intent of the Warren zoning ordinance and comprehensive plan. Again, this project is to the rear of the house, so it was not necessarily highly visible from the road of Ridgewood Court. And there's been some testimony taken that this project has been designed with some architectural concerns to keep the roof lines similar, and indeed the addition will be flush with the existing garage to maintain a clean line. The relief requested, again, is the least relief necessary. Again, this addition is taking over most of the space of what was previously the pre-existing deck with a slight addition to it. And again, there will be a small portion of the deck remaining for a charcoal grill. This is not based for the needs of this project. What's been presented in the plans does not appear to be egregious or extreme in size, and certainly reasonable. And if this dimensional variance was not to be granted, it would be a hardship that would be more than a mere inconvenience. Again, I'll cite us back to the testimony regarding the health concerns of the owner. Regarding the requested requirements, the maximum building lot coverage currently existing is 17.2%. Required or allowed is 20%. What's proposed is 22.4%. The side yard with setback, what is currently existing is 12 feet. What is required is 15, but it will be remaining at 12 feet. The minimum rear yard depth is currently 45 feet. Required is 35 feet. The proposal here is for 29 feet. The front yard setback, which is currently existing, proposed is 27 feet, and required is 25. Minimum lot frontage and width, what is existing, what is proposed is 90 feet, whereas what is required is 110 feet. Again, should this petition be granted, certainly all states and other regulatory matters need to be followed. And the application will be restricted to the proposed features.
And specifically, concern brought up about stormwater, that any stormwater generated by this addition needs to be managed within the property line. And codes saying that on the, thing. Anything else anyone wishes to add? Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes with getting the house built. That's half of it. 21 days after, not after today, after the decision. I I think I may wish to make a slight alteration to the agenda, depending on, I see a lot of people here who've not yet spoken. So it's kind of like building up here to something. How many people are here interested in an HVAC unit at 10 to 12 Norbert Street that they want to speak about? So we've got 2 people on that. And the rest of you are here about a use variance for a delicatessen or similar retail business. I think we'll take the HVAC unit first. I think we might be able to resolve that more quickly. So we'll go to item 5, which is application 22-11, Vlad Thinga, owner and applicant, 10 to 12 Norbert Street, plat map 3, lot 36, requesting a dimensional variance under 3277. Install an HVAC unit with less than required side yard setback from a legal non-conforming non-RC district. Please come forward.
Excuse me, Chair Ellis.
Yes.
I will need to recuse myself from the discussion as well as any subsequent discussion or voting.
Okay, very good. So, so Mr. Francis is unable to sit on application 11. So the remaining 5 members here on this. So yeah, I'm sorry, could you identify
Good evening.
yourself?
Yeah, my name is Vlad Stinga. I own the building.
At,
Vlad Stinga,
and you,
a Romanian name.
and your address is?
10 Nober Street.
Okay. So give us a brief description about this HVAC unit and why you're here this evening. How,
So when I bought the building, it's a 4-unit apartment building, and there was no heating in any of the bedrooms on the 2nd and 3rd floor
and when was this that you bought the building?
in December.
This past summer?
Yeah, December.
Oh,
Sorry.
December.
December, yeah.
December of 2021,
Yes, correct.
right? And there was no heat.
There was no heating in any of the bedrooms on the 2nd and 3rd floor.
Okay?
The only heating system that the building had was the gas heating in the kitchen, those very old stove and heater 2-in-1 type of things. And in the living room, there was a gas stove, but there was nothing in bedrooms, the bathrooms, no heating whatsoever.
So the building, and maybe the builder will comment on this, not compliant to be a habitable situation that didn't provide you for its occupants.
So that was prior to my knowledge of this. This was brought to my attention by a resident that these were installed. So he was actually cited and we subsequently inspected them, but then realized that there is an issue with zoning. So that's why he's before you this evening.
So,
So your testimony is that there
So-
was no heat.
Yep.
Suitable for the tenants, and so you sought to install it.
yep, and the people that installed it, without my knowledge, they didn't pull a permit beforehand. We pulled one afterwards, and they noticed that the units were installed correctly. However, they were installed too close to the property line. The only problem is why I need a variance, otherwise I would have just had it moved, is that they lose effectiveness the further they are from the room units, the mini splits. And there's no other place on the property where I could put them and still have them work.
Is there any place on the property where you, because this appears to be fairly tight lot lines around the
Mhm.
property?
Yep.
Is there any place where you could put them where they would not be within a setback?
No, so if I were to put them in the front, they would not work because the lines would be way too long.
So you'd also have a problem, you have front setbacks.
Yeah.
So, And it's a little difficult to tell from the plan submitted because we can't quite see. It looks like there's 6 feet on one side of the building. And there's 35 feet on the other side of the building. Is that whole 35 feet your property?
Most of it. The other building is the Corliss Center, right?
They have a big parking area.
Yeah.
This is asking-
Oh, yeah, that is, the parking area is mine, yes.
And at the back, it doesn't look like
There's nothing,
really nothing.
nothing in the front either.
So could the units have been installed on the side where there's the 35 feet?
No, that was the exact issue. All the bedrooms are on the side where they are right now. And if I were to install the units on that side with the parking lot, they would effectively lose all power. They would not work. That's what I've been told.
Was it considered that a more powerful or different kind of unit might be needed if the distance was greater?
That's what my contractor said, that you know, there's nothing that he can do on that side. The lines would be way too long, like by far way too long to function.
But the contractor did not pull a permit prior to installing.
They did not.
Question I have is, do you have any sort of documentation from the contractor? I understand you're relaying what the contractor said, but that's kind of like hearsay because
Oh, yeah, of
you're
course.
just relaying
Oh, of course. Yeah.
what he told you. So this map here where you've got like the two little
Mhm.
squares,
Yep.
those two squares represent the compressors, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it's your,
Inverters. But yes.
the inverse, my apologies. And it's your testimony that the bedrooms that were lacking heat were all on that side of the building?
Yes. Correct.
So there are no bedrooms on the parking lot side?
Not on the second and third floor. No.
And that dock line that goes alongside, is that a fence?
Would you mind showing me the? Oh, gotcha.
That's, I think that's basically the property.
Let me just ask the solicitor, we haven't had one of these quite in a while, and I was looking at what things are allowed to protrude into setbacks. They are decorative cornices, go up to a foot, et cetera. I didn't see anything in the ordinance that allows HVAC equipment. Being exempt.
Hotel that last fall, I think. John Sheridan had built a shed.
Oh, well, yeah, I was more asking about, because there are certain things that are included, like cornices that overhang the building. But I don't like to find anything regarding.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, consistently throughout the state, that these mechanical instruments are considered structures, therefore, this order doesn't apply to them.
Wait for a second. So this is a situation that Newport deals with on a regular basis, particularly in the historic district where there's very narrow lot lines. These condensers can either be based on the ground or they could be on the building itself. There's, 40 feet is about the maximum line set length that is effective. Just so so you're aware of that.
Fairly familiar.
I didn't understand.
Sure, so these AC condensers are considered structures, therefore, they have to correct as part of the structure, and that's what they're considered in the state.
Does it, is it considered an accessory structure?
It's an extension as it's permanently attached to the
So it's
building.
So it's an extension of the house, it needs to meet
Correct.
the main setbacks that apply to the house. not-
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So I have a neighbor, she has one of these, but it's attached to the house. They're not attached to the house, they're stands, could be attached to the house. Maybe that. They're being a little bit back.
Is this first floor units or second floor?
Second and third.
Second and third?
So
And they couldn't have been put on the house or on the roof?
yeah, I was gonna say, why wasn't it considered to put it onto the roof? Even if the roof is sloped, you can build a platform with a leg, put these units on. That sort of thing. Done.
Yeah, I've asked, what are my options, and that was the answer that I got. That particular area was the only place where.
So even if you were to mount them on the side of the house, they're still going to be within the setback. Because the house isn't compliant to start with, it's only got 6 feet. Does anyone want to say anything else before I go to public comments? I'd like to. We want to step aside. So if anyone in the public would like to offer some commentary. Please just identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Jane Pear. I live at 18 Nobert Street, Apartment A. I was asked to appear tonight on behalf of my landlord, who couldn't be here. He had a prior engagement. I live on the side where those inverters or compressors, whatever they're called, are. And when they are going, they sound very loud. It's a big fan, sounds industrial. I know that in the summertime, people have air conditioning units, and this particular house had air conditioning units in every single one of the windows on that side of the house in the summertime, as did I on actually similar side of the house, but they don't make the same kind of noise. I would be lying in bed this winter after these were installed, and it was just this continual kind of a loud hum, and actually was problematic for me to get to sleep sometimes because it was so noisy. I'm expecting it's going to be the same once it really gets going in the summer and it's really hot. They'll probably be going all the time.
And there are windows on the side of 18 Norbert Street that are in proximity to these units.
Yes, and actually that was something that my landlord was pointing out to me because of where these are. Before I put an AC unit in the kitchen window, if I choose to do that this summer, those units are not that far out on the other side. And so they will be, when you walk past them, it's like you're going through a good clip of a wind. They really blow a lot of air. So that's the other thing. That was actually when I first noticed it, was when I was taking out the trash, and there's a little walkway. I don't know if you have any photos of what that looks like between the two buildings.
I've seen
It's very tight.
a very narrow space.
Yeah. So, so when I would go out and take the trash out, I'd get blown one way and then blown going the other way. But that's not that big a deal. But thinking about when I open the window in spring, now that we're getting nice weather, if somebody's got AC going, it's going to be, the fans are going to be rotating, and it's going to be blowing air, even though it's supposed to be safe air, from what I've been told. It's going to be blowing air into my kitchen.
Yeah,
So-
building, or anything in the residential building code that prohibits the discharge from HVAC units within a certain distance of the
So we had our mechanical inspector, a permit was eventually pulled. Our mechanical inspector did go out and inspect as well as I inspected. The air that is being exhausted is clean air. It's just a fan of moving just natural air. So there is nothing against code with the exhaust on the system. I did speak today with the landlord, Mr. Roger Ferreira. He also emailed me to voice his concern, and he couldn't make it this evening. But he requested that, if possible, a fence could be put in front of these units that would stop the air flow onto his property. Because if you can see through in the pictures, there are 2 windows that are directly across. And it's unfortunate because this is, the applicant has worked with us. He's tried everything we've asked of him. It just, the way that it's set up it's just a tough situation.
Have any sound readings been taken, how many decibels these are generating?
I have not done that. We'd have to have the police department come down. They have this sound meter certified to do that.
I would say from your complaint, the sound is more of an issue that, I mean, it seems like the airflow is an issue plus the sound, but the sound is the more disturbing issue.
And in the winter, I think in the summer, it's not going to be as much of an issue because I think that I'll have air conditioning going as well. So I'll have my own white noise, that they'll have their white noise and I'll have my white noise. I mean, there were air conditioning units in the windows before, so I can't really complain about the fact that, you know, there's going to be sound coming from somewhere. Air conditioning units.
This unit provides both heat
Correct.
and cooling. so
Correct.
it can operate
It's
year-round.
the wintertime stuff when it's been really going this winter.
Help you think with that? Would not help if that's, that's just put away. That's.
That would definitely help with any air that might be coming towards the building and the side where I live in. It may muffle the sound some. I'm not sure. That might be an answer, and that, you know, that might be an alternative that would work for everybody.
You might,
Is there any way of encasing them without taking away the effectiveness of them? I've seen some, you know, boxes with a lot of venting and going over. I've seen those before, commercial stuff.
possible some kind of acoustic enclosures. Right. It might be something that we need to suggest. We don't have sound treatment. And past when we've had noise issues, the applicant has needed to procure the services of someone who can attest to what sort of acoustic mediation would be appropriate to lower the sound. There may be some sort. I don't think just putting up a wood picket fence, you get an Home Depot lumberyard, and do like acoustically, you would need something specifically designed by some knowledge of acoustics, to be able to absorb and reflect that sound away from the adjacent measurements taken to those windows, what is the proximity to those units, and then sound level readings taken inside the apartment, outside the apartment. How to make that determination.
Well, or maybe if they did do something like you were just describing, and it's kind of, I've seen those kind of things for garbage cans, structures outside buildings. Maybe they could just do something acoustic right along one that's where the cans are facing out, so parallel to the walkway.
Yeah, I mean, there could be
That
a variety.
section, maybe the whole thing doesn't have to be enclosed. I don't know.
There could be a variety of solutions. This board doesn't really know.
Right, no, I understand
We
that.
would need
yeah.
to, when the applicant comes
Believe
back,
me, I don't know.
we need to ask the applicant if that's something that could be investigated. So your concerns are principally the noise, but also the proximity to your causing distress.
Right, and I know, yes, and I know that my landlord is concerned of the proximity to this property. But you know, that's hearsay probably, so. But I think
But you're-
I think he said that to the building.
But you are concerned and you personally have experienced it.
Yes.
Anything else you wanted to share with us? No?
No, otherwise, I think that there seems to be a job with the building, which is.
Yeah, it seems to be an unfortunate instance of contractor thinking that he did what was best when in fact not aware.
Believe me, on that street, that's the least furnishings.
We'll leave
I'll
that.
just leave that right there.
Is there anyone else in the public who wants to offer any commentary on this? So Ben,
I have a question for you. Was your contractor licensed by the church?
Yes. Yeah. That's the only way he could have.
There's gotta be, no, I'm talking about the one prior.
No, that's the same guy pulled the permit.
Okay, I mean, I would think that there would be some kind of ramification
implications to and accountability on their, from their insurance company. If it has to be, we make a ruling that there has to be some kind of disclosure, that it would be up to their expense to do that through their insurance company.
Mr. Stinga, did I pronounce your last name right?
Good enough.
That's all right.
Perfect.
All right.
It's hard to.
That's all right. How many, I'm familiar with the area. I'm just drawing a blank right now. How many stories is your structure?
3.
3. And 18 Norbert Street next door. How many stories is that building?
It's 3 as well.
So-
It's just 2?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're not in the position on how to design a structure, but I'm almost wondering if something could go on the roof that's above and sound wise and discharge wise.
I could also say maybe if, since 18 Norbert Street is 2 stories and this is 3 stories, could these things be elevated on a bracket, like off of the 3rd floor sidewall, so it's above the Norbert Street property? I mean, they're still within the setbacks. That doesn't solve that problem. But again, you have to have someone who has acoustical knowledge and expertise advise if elevating them up is going to effectively resolve, the nuisance part.
I'm sure if they're elevated, it won't be an issue at the bottom level.
Well, we would need some sort of testimony or documentation. To say that the way the sound is distributed from it is not.
What would be the maximum allowance for sound levels?
There's a decibel limit in the ordinance, which is 65 decibels.
My sense came up.
Well, we don't have any
I was told they're very quiet. That was gonna be my next question, because I'm pretty sure they're very quiet, or advertised as very quiet.
Well, apparently there's a nuisance causing someone to lose sleep, which is a problem. Certainly ask for that, but apart from that, it doesn't solve the fact that they're built within the setbacks, which is not allowed.
That was my main issue.
Yeah, they're placed in a location, not allowed. I think we would need some kind of measurements from what one person says is minimum waste, someone else says it's a lot of waste without having empirical evidence and measure against it. Compromise to back for a decimal count, or where setback and maybe fence from that, for that group of right next to each other, probably. One is the other, 15 feet or 12 feet. Fence there that might stop some wind noise and from the south, just hearing straight across the sidewalk. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to solve. I don't know that Mr. Singh has demonstrated with fact-based evidence that they could not be located in a place that was compliant, such as on top of the roof or on the face of the building, but higher up, still within the setback, maybe it's less, but that could help with noise. I think we need some evidence of what are the alternative locations for this, what are the pros and cons of each location. Try to just come up with a solution without having evidence from someone specific. field. Might have a big problem.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, what, something that's kind of where my mind was leading, it sounds like we need some more information here. My thoughts are, maybe let's try to get some sound readings from the police department, just so we've got a reference frame. But also perhaps, I wonder if the board and the applicant would be amenable, granting this a continuance and having him come back with his contractor to provide some other alternatives.
We could also ask for a site visit where we can observe the units of operation condition. As
Yeah.
has been recommended in the past, when there are these tricky issues that are sort of ephemeral and we can't really grasp them fully without seeing it. So would you be amenable to having the board come to the property and observe the units while they're in operation? Yes, would your contractor be present?
That will keep back.
It sounds like we're leaning towards having the applicant request a continuance for this application. No, well, hold on.
Do I have time?
It may, even the form may slightly complicate things. The May meeting, I have to take a family member for medical procedure. Unless it may be different. Yeah, they're the same.
Tosot, Tosot. I believe they're made by Gree, which I was told makes like 80% of the heat pumps out there. No matter what the brand, other than LG and Mitsubishi, I believe everything's made by Gree.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is already there.
Yeah. So.
And given that the neighbor also indicated that probably the warmer weather would be lesser in a sense, the other noise air conditioners seems like the main problem with during heat.
We don't need to rush this.
So are you amenable to asking to continue this to June, with a site visit taking place sometime between now and plus supplying the building official with the manufacturer and model number, and if you have it, the actual specifications. I don't want town staff wasting time trying to dig up the manufacturer.
Yeah, I'll get the exact things. I'll get one of the manuals for the units.
And at the site visit, your contractor could be present and potentially might also be beneficial to be present at the next hearing when this is continued. You may have additional questions about alternative locations.
Okay.
You're making that request?
I am making that request.
You're making that.
Way better than a no.
So is there a motion to continue application 2211 to the June meeting, which is the 15th of June? What's that? Okay.
Does it say, does it have to be advertised?
Okay, the 15th of June.
Does it say, does it?
Yes, and so the site visit, you will coordinate with the zoning officer so that we can have a site visit prior to that. And I think it'd be beneficial, that again, the same 5 people ought to be here, site visit. So we can all coordinate that. date, time of the work. And any member of the public is also able to come to the site visit because it is treated as a public. Motion, please. Application 12, 22-11. Take order. 12, sound readings. Might want to be there when I do that.
It'd be probably good if, I'm sorry to interrupt, it'd be probably good if, there's a normal air conditioning unit working at the same time, so we can check the difference. Because like the gentleman said, if those are louder than mine, then that shouldn't be.
Never know, but it would be good if it's an evening where they need heat or something like that. If I make the same amount.
They do, yeah.
Let's do it better. Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so your petition is going to be continued through the meeting, and sometime between now and then, site visit will be scheduled. Reach out to the town zoning office.
Thank you so much.
And now we'll return to item 4, number 5 not having been quite as expeditious as I hoped. But we will now hear application 2210, Lawrence J. DeMauro Jr., owner, and Matthew King, applicant, 747 Main Street, plat map 6, lot 53, a request for a use variance under 3253 to allow a delicatessen or similar retail business use in the R6 zoning district. Good evening, just identify yourself for the stenographer's record.
Good evening. My name is Matthew King. I am a resident and I live at 75 Child Street. I'm on here on behalf of myself as well as the owner, Lawrence DeMauro. I am also the owner of the Taco Box, which is at the same address, 75 Child Street. And what I'm proposing today is to create a destination on the south end of town at 747 Main Street, which is currently a defunct convenience store. And I'd like to create a food destination. So what we're proposing is 3 food trucks that would be on the outside of the building. And then some sort of window service amenity like ice cream or a beverage service that would operate within the building and service through a window outside. In addition to that, we'll have approximately 8 indoor seats for inclement weather and for people that just need to get out of the sun. The remainder of the building would be the commissary that would support one of the trucks, or trailers, I should say, that is here, the red one, as well as would support the Taco Box, which is going to remain at 75 Child Street. We're looking to serve much the same constituency
that we do over on Child Street, which is the community, business and residents, bike path users. And in addition to that, this is proximate to Burrs Hill Park and the town beach. And I feel that it would offer a very nice addition to the neighborhood in regards to servicing those locations. That's essentially our proposal. It's seasonal. It would operate from May to December. And hours of operation, depending on what would go into the interior space, would be roughly 11 o'clock to 8 p.m. with maybe exceptions for any events that are happening at Burrs Hill Park, which may go later. So that's our basic proposal.
Mr. Chair, if I may just.
Yes, I was gonna-
Some legal advice and recommendations. This property is located in a residential neighborhood. It's currently operating, or was operating for about 3-4 months ago as a convenience store, which is a legally non-conforming use. So my interpretation of this application is this is a use variance for a restaurant.
So I would ask, so the convenience store, it's been there for a great deal of time, is a retail type of use, correct?
Yes. Correct.
And the application is not seeking an application for restaurant, it's seeking it for a delicatessen or similar retail business. So could this be the same sort of use, just with a different room?
Mr. Chairman, it's interpretation of our firm that a restaurant exists when there is food or beverage for sale that is intended to be consumed on the property. And this is what you have. It's a restaurant.
And how does that align with?
That's a whole different category that is controlled by a town ordinance, controlled by the town council.
This looks like mobile food vending trailers. It's a purview of this board. Whatever he does inside the property. Up to the town council to decide what they want.
It was a gas station starting, Larry Sunoco starting in 1952.
Was any food ever served in the convenience store?
Hot
That's
dogs.
food.
But Mr. Chair, the difference is the intent to eat those hot dogs, any type of food on the property. That's what makes it a restaurant. And this, obviously, this application shows tables, which is consistent again with the definition, which is consistent with Rhode Island taxation, which considers any type of food that is intended to be consumed on the property as a restaurant.
So how is that different than a delicatessen?
It's the intent, whether or not you can consume it on the property or take it to go and consume it in your vehicle, et cetera.
So a delicatessen you cannot consume. No.
The intent, correct. Correct. You have tables, when you have a window there, I think the intent is clear here to have people consume the product that he's selling on the property, therefore it's a restaurant. And this is definition not only from the town, but also from the division of taxation.
So if it's a delicatessen that also has tables, service, that's still a restaurant.
Correct. You can only have one use at that property. It can't be retail / restaurant. Okay. Currently, it's a convenience store. It's service. It fits within that criteria. What we're looking at here, in my legal opinion to you, it's a restaurant.
Mr. Solicitor, would your analysis change? I'm just looking at the outside here. Would your analysis change if there were no tables and chairs outside and it was just the trailers?
I believe he also indicated there'd be some seating inside.
Okay, so let's say, just argument's sake, hypothetically, let's say there was no seating anywhere, inside or outside.
Correct. If the intent there is you can go there, buy something and take it off the property. Again, it's interpretation, but the intent, and by his description, by his written description of what he wants to do there, and this has nothing to do with my personal opinion on this project. I think it actually looks great. I'm just telling you legally, this is this is my recommendation, and in my interpretation, this is the restaurant, fortunately.
Right, so where on this is the plan of the building?
Yes,
So where on this plan would interior tables be located?
just to the right of the front entrance, it shows two 1 foot by approximately 12-foot bars.
So that's not really a table, that's a counter.
It's like a stand-up counter.
Yeah, but the whole thing is eating it there or not. Yeah.
Well, it could be a very nuanced interpretation that a actual restaurant might be something that has table service. Of course, I'm sure your child would not consider standing at a bar a restaurant experience. So it might come down to what we consider to be a restaurant. Is a Dunkin' Donuts a restaurant?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's taxed that way, regulated that way.
And does the seating versus standing make it doesn't matter.
They also have
So would you be willing to remove the counters on the inside so there was no surface on which someone could consume food? So whether they purchase the food and chose just to stand in the entryway and eat it, that would be their choice, but you're not making any accommodation for them to have an eating service.
How does that impact what's
Well-
what's proposed outside for seating?
The outside might be a different animal, if that's part of the mobile food thing, with these two trailers or whatever else is going on. Out there.
Yeah, certainly I would be more than happy to
So the
eliminate
problem-
any indoor space other than access to the restrooms.
The problem here is that the convenience store was a retail use. Delicatessen is also in that retail umbrella. So let's say it's a continuation of a similar use. The restaurant is not a similar use to the retail convenience store. And to prove a change of use, you have to prove that there is absolutely no other beneficial use that could possibly happen within this building. And that is a very difficult standard.
Sure.
Because someone can come along and say, well, put in, another convenience store, just like it was. Just because the last convenience store went on, it's been a convenience store for decades. So the store before that has a history of retail. So you can find a model that continues that same use, not really changing.
Yes, I mean, if we were to eliminate the seating on the inside of the building, what you would have is something similar to what is happening at my current location on Child Street, which is, does have seating. And it was, albeit it's a different animal in that it's in a different zoning district. There would need to be some sort of accommodation outside, but for inside, we would not require that. It's not a part of the business model. It was really amenity for the visitors.
We want to hear, see what this is going, the public must, on the public side. So are there anyone in the public wishing to make comment on this application? We're all just here out of curiosity.
I actually live on Hale Street. I don't know whether to recuse myself again or not, but
Are you within the notification?
I live at 22 Hale Street, which is probably about 6 houses down from the location.
That may be beyond the 200. Are you in the list of butters?
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. For the record,
Good evening, Board. Spencer Morris, 18 Cole Street in Warren. I don't have any standing other than the fact that I am Mr. King's neighbor, both as a business and also as a resident. My house shares a property line with his current business called the Taco Box. And I'm just here to say that runs a really great operation. It's improved the appearance of my neighborhood, added a kind of a nice dynamic feature, provides a great service. I enjoy eating there. And in addition, I have a business about a block away, and there's a nice synchronicity between Warren Cider Works, Sohn Cider Works, and the Taco Box. So I think it's important to consider the benefit of these types of businesses to the community in terms of providing services, as Matthew already indicated, to the folks who live here, but also bringing other folks into town who appreciate what a wonderful place Warren is. And so that's my testimony.
If anyone else, yes, please come up.
Hi guys, my name is Rich Flynn, resident 7 Scroll Street in Warren. I've known Mr. King for several years. I actually supported his original taco box idea back when he first came in, because I'm pretty aware of what Matthew's skill sets are. He's an accomplished businessman. He has very thoughtfully built out his business, and again, will do so again. He's also a great steward of his community, which I think is important when it's a business like this, because I think he thinks beyond the business. He looks at the environment around it, and that's very important to him. And he knows it's very important to residents around him. So I think, I'd support it in the sense that, Matthew is he's a great addition to this community when he came in, and he just wants to improve it from here on out. And I think it's a fantastic idea. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Other members, yes, please. And just identify your name and address.
Hi, I'm Christy. I live at 73 Child Street. So Matthew's actually my landlord. I also own a business in Warren. And I just think that this location, where it is at and what it is right now is, not very easy on the eyes. I think this is an incredible way to up this charming town that we already have by having something so special right on the bike path, drawing in people right over the border from Bristol that want to come to our community and enjoy our offerings. So I'm a huge supporter of this. I've been in the restaurant industry a very long time. I think what he's doing at the Taco Box is extremely special, and it's something that people come to Warren to enjoy. I think this will be a continuation of that. So I'm for it. Thank you.
Any others? Yes, please come up. Oh, hold on. You'll get your chance.
Hi.
Ladies first.
My name is Liz Andriotti. I live at 766 Main Street.
Okay.
And I primarily came to find out what this is all about. It's a great concept. I just had a couple of questions. I guess my primary concern would be parking. I don't know if that's something that's addressed at this phase of the process. And then my other question was, would the trucks be permanent or would they? Water Street, Water Street has really developed to become great. It's made it difficult for people.
I just want to is it appropriate?
Yeah, answer that one question.
So the question was hours, and I think you heard it was 11 to 8 o'clock. The parking situation, although it doesn't show it here, we're proposing 5 spots, including 1 accessible spot on the property.
And then there is parking on the street, right in front of the property on that side of the street, in addition, further up the street. 60% of the business currently for the Taco Box comes off the bike path. So I see a lot of the business, when it's really busy, is going to be music nights at Burris Hill Park and that sort of thing. And those people are already parked or they're already there. So it's just creating an amenity at that point as opposed to increased traffic. And was there another question? Oh, the trailers are, the red one in theory would stay for the season. They would come off at the end of the season. The other two are being proposed as itinerant. They'd probably be there for a week and then go out, and another one would come in. So we're trying to add variety as well as an opportunity. I'm a member at Hope in Maine, so I've had an opportunity to have a conversation with them, try to steer some of their newer members towards us, try to get some synergy going there. And all the vehicles will be moved about 10 in the morning, 8, 9 the most, and they might pull out, but pretty quickly and quietly at 9 o'clock at night. But we try to, minimize any kind of disruption to the neighborhood after hours or before hours.
There's another gentleman in the public.
Hi. Adam Bakelman. I live at 85 Child Street. I live right next door to him.
Sounds like a popular neighborhood.
I just want to bring it to the residential part of it. I just have to say that his taco box is very quiet. The customers are maintained very properly. It is always clean. So that's really what I have to say about that.
Excellent. Anyone else wants to offer any commentary? No one? Okay. For comments from the public, I want to come back up here again. Have you had any discussions with the town council about the zoning of this piece of property?
I have not yet. I figured, cart before the horse. So I perceive this as the first obstacle. And then if we could get beyond the board, the zoning board, then we could go to town council for the May 10th, I believe, is the meeting.
So, Mr. King has spoken to me. We zoned around this property. This. Has that conversation.
So if the business operation could remain a retail operation, such as it's already an established retail operation, would you need any relief? From here, this board. Yeah, because he's retailing food. Correct. I mean, that's the end of it. Yeah.
As long as it's the classification, secondly, make sure it's the ownership that was there. But it continue as a
Retail could be.
If I may, I provided the building official with a letter from the landlord. I believe it was passed around to you. But it was pretty clear that he's had this establishment advertised. He has had a great deal of interest. I know that some people have actually come into the town like the day before even talking to him, thinking about uses for it. So there are other people that he has, a lot of people that he's spoken to, but based on his criteria, which is really someone that's going to improve the look and feel of the property, use it more appropriately, and somebody who knows what they're doing and has a proven track record,
and certainly the financial backing to make the changes that are necessary to a building that was built in 1952. So he feels like he's done his diligence as it relates to trying to entertain opportunities, and he's dismissed many of them because he felt as if, to Mr. Rulli's point, they really weren't appropriate use for the neighborhood.
So that makes it a little bit more difficult if you want a restaurant, because there obviously are other beneficial uses of the property. So in my opinion, the best way forward is if the operation can stay in the same classification as a convenience store, which would be a retail establishment, have to be retailing food. Delicatessen is listed in the ordinance with retail. And if you were to remove any provisions for the seating counters, so there's no intent for the food to be served and consumed on the property, but the people come and buy them, what they do with it once they exit entirely their own. And they can stand there in the parking lot and eat it. But I think that might be the best way forward of not changing the use category. It seems highly unlikely that we could prove that we made this a restaurant. There was no other possible use of the building.
I want to ask you a question. So if we do this as a delicatessen, does the town council have the right to add seating inside there? No. Okay. Okay, okay.
So they could add seating to the mobile food establishment outside. They can, sure. Yeah. So our decision would, I think, because only in our purview, the building itself would be in our decision. What happens outside would have to be handled by the council.
No, I agree with you.
So we have to just address the retail use of a delicatessen, as was stated in the application, inside the building. And now, as far as parking, you said you're going to have 5 parking.
Yeah, they're showed on the site plan, but not on the rendering, just because they're not pretty cars.
How does that compare with the number that the ordinance would require for a retail?
I defer that question to,
Uptown where you don't have to have parking.
my understanding is that there's no requirement for this property because it's a non-conforming use. That's my understanding. Is that the correct language?
Yeah, it's not. It's on-street parking. Available. I think he's providing these for and one could reasonably that a delicatessen use would be less intensive than a convenience store, particularly with regard to generating traffic for convenience stores and early morning rush going to get coffee, meet for the day, as people in and out all the time. The delicatessen seems like it would be somewhat less intensive, but maybe more limited hours of the day when people are likely to frequent the delicatessen.
Correct.
Said the hours were 11 to 8 or something.
11 to 8 or.
So really you've eliminated the whole morning aspect of what the convenience store would do. So that certainly is less of the traffic in that area. And you've also stated that your target audience is bike path related pedestrian / non-motorized vehicle.
Correct, folks from downtown.
Having lived in the area and still do, there will be an overflow of traffic and parking in the subsequent streets like hell. So, having 5 spaces is really you know, you're gonna go there, you're gonna order food, then you're gonna go for a walk and eat it in the park. Then another customer's gonna come and another customer's, convenience stores, people go in and out, and they leave. Another person comes, they leave. So there will be an impact on the community regarding parking. I don't want to minimize that. I think it's a great plan. I think what you did at the Taco Box is wonderful. And I welcome this. This looks great. But I do think that it will have an impact on parking in these side streets, as well as just trash and just that kind of stuff. So I just want to throw that out there.
Walking bicycle traffic as well.
I would think that car traffic is naturally more parking. On
People
the
take
street.
the path of least resistance when it
And
comes to that.
And then walking, and then almost
You would
walking
think that,
in towards the,
but like even Water Street, at the beach, they don't use the beach parking lot. They
They don't wanna
park
pay.
all the way up Hale Street. No, even when there's an event going on or something, they'll park. all
you'd
the way
have to know to go
up
on
and
it.
down. And, you know.
No, I know, a Warrenite would be able to do that.
Yeah.
Somebody from.
All it takes
Providence.
is 2 or 3 extra people.
No, I know, I
No, the homeowners don't have a place to park. So I'm just throwing it out there.
That's a.
Would it be reasonable to limit the length of time of parking for the grab and go? Well, I don't know that. No, I mean, on his 5 spaces that are on his lot, that he is the business owner. Yeah, could limit the amount of time, parking on his property occurs. So not to encourage people to get a sandwich and then either sit in their car for 20 minutes or wander off somewhere else. It's not.
Yeah, as far as your decision, I'd say park.
Is there a time that you think would be reasonable for on-site parking to be limited to
I think the,
business model?
Maybe encouraging parking in the park and ride,
Right.
which is on Franklin Street, and just promoting customers to park there as well.
right.
Well,
Would also help.
to keep us from going off the rails, I know that there is a parking survey that's being done. Is that correct, Mr. Rulli? At some point, and I know that's going to be a comprehensive plan for the town.
I have no issue with restricting the length of time for parking. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the max.
Yeah, it's the nature of the. Populations. He's gonna get a lot of. Yeah. I think that's your plan, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
high
and
traffic
Burrs
area.
Hill. Yeah, absolutely. And even the town beach for those people who want to get a little exercise and walk across the park. Exercise.
Once the word gets out about, so where I'm seeing this is that it could be a continuation of the retail use already there, provided that there are no eating amenities offered in the establishment. It's a grab and go delicatessen style business, and the parking towards customers, 15-minute on-site parking for primarily for pedestrian bicycle traffic. And our deliberations pertain to the use that's happening inside. Exterior Have anything else you'd like to?
No, I thought that Spencer actually, Mr. Morris was pretty eloquent about it.
As he truly is.
I love Warren. I've only lived here 5 years. This will be our 4th season at the Taco Box. I just look at this as an opportunity to extend my involvement with the community and also shorten my commute. Thank you.
So the matter before us, we're not approving a use variance. Do we need to reaffirm that the retail use is going to continue here? Yes, because we are going to continue at this use.
We have to vote on delicatessen.
Is the delicatessen the same thing as the retail? Classification.
Yeah, grocery, bakery, drug, variety, delicatessen, or similar retail businesses.
That's all in the same category.
Yeah.
That's store part that's on that storage or is that?
That's storage.
That would be that's proposed as being a service window outside the building with no seating inside, as we've discussed. So think of Eskimo King. There's a window, you belly up, order your item, and then you leave.
It's all in grab and go.
Grab and go.
So what do we have to vote
I'm not sure, I mean, does he need a special use if it's in the same category that retail, variety, delicatessen? Yeah. I mean, the existing thing doesn't have a special use for it, like just been there, grandfathered it. Sure. What is that? Vote on that, or does it have to be advertised, you know, say you want a special use permit in the first place? But someone reasonably for, I think that is just the information. Yeah, that's fine. Like to amend it, especially.
So it seems as though I would like to withdraw my request for a variance.
No withdrawal.
Amend my request for a variance and ask for a special use permit.
And you're asking to continue with the same category.
That's correct.
Someone have is there any further discussion? Someone have a motion on this application?
Give it a crack.
Unless you really want to.
I prefer Andrew to.
It's bad for.
Well,
But we can all help it.
I can try and you can fix it. When I have the thing.
Yeah.
I got it.
We're on the special.
I got it right here. Oh, wait, okay. Do we need to have a separate motion to accept the amending? No? All right.
Regularly part of the emotion.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, this motion is granting application number 22-10. Yep, 22-10, Lawrence J. Demaro Jr., owner, and Matthew King, applicant. 747 Main Street, plat map 6, lot 53, request for a
use variance under section 32-53 to allow delicatessen or similar retail business use in the R6 zoning district. That this application has been amended by the applicant, Matthew King, to a special use permit to allow delicatessen or similar retail business use in the R6 zoning district. In granting this petition for a special use, we find that the special use will be compatible with the neighboring land uses. There's been a good deal of testimony today about the prior use of this proposed site as a convenience store, a milk store, and many other business uses in the past, as well as its adjacency to Burris Hill Park and the bike path. We do find that it will be compatible in servicing the bike, specifically the bike path and the park, as a means for those individuals going there to get some food, to take it away and eat it where they would like. We find that the special use will not create a hazard in the neighborhood. There's been testimony today given the hours of operation as well as the intended nature of this being a taken or grab and go type business. If anything, the overall testimony, including that from the abutters and other members of the public, have indicated that this will in fact enhance the site. We find that the special use permit is compatible with the community comprehensive plan. This has been a troubled business site for a number of years, and the proposed plan is certainly not only prettifying, if that's a word, making the site more visually attractive, but also serving as a southern gateway point to really anchor the southern end of the town, the park and the bike path. We find the public convenience and welfare will be served. Again, there's been a lot of testimony in favor of this proposed site. So the applicant's current other business, the Taco Box, has been very well received by the town. There's been a lot of testimony today in support of that. This appears to be an extension of that similar type of model.
Finding the fact that the delicatessen is an extension of existing retail use on the site, and this form of retail use would be less impactful and of lesser intensity than the existing convenience staying within the same classification category.
Correct. We also find that there have been as a contingent on granting the special use permit, I believe there were five parking spaces that were identified by the applicant, and the parking time limit in each of those will be restricted to 15 minutes on site. And again, just speak where the 5 spots are identified. We're only talking about the spots that are on the property, obviously nothing on the street. Hours of operation, the applicant indicated that he would be anticipating 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. I realize maybe. Okay. Yeah.
But it's also going to be safe.
And I know you said you were initially hoping if there's an event going on, you'd like to be open a little later. Is that?
Not necessarily to the end. I'll make those minutes.
Yeah, because when we
9 o'clock would be the late.
9,
Yeah.
11 to 9. Okay, yeah, because once we set the time parameters, that's it. You can't go on past that. So. Change. Yeah. Okay.
Just like to make it 10.
I think it's late.
I gotta go at 10.
Yeah.
Even your.
But that covers
Doesn't mean
them
you have
for
to.
concerts.
No, I would end up being that way.
All right. In setting the hours, this business has permission to operate 7 days a week at a max. Obviously, you can't go more than 7 days a week. It's been a long day. Huh? Yeah. Hours of operation will be 11 a.m. or not to exceed 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And again, this has been indicated this will be a seasonal business running from beginning of May to the end of December. Okay. Any other?
How we just have a size tag, does not have to be 10.
In the building.
Yeah.
The building also, outside.
Yeah, and just, again, given the extreme unique character of this parcel, there's been a lot of testimony and a lot of discussion taken. It is indicated in this motion to approve, it is explicitly prohibited that there would be any seating inside or outside for this delicatessen to offer.
All sites controlled by the council.
Yeah.
You can address that.
Yes.
Okay.
I would
And-
just add,
Are we?
let the council decide what they want to do.
All right, so just so so for the seating, again,
You're out, you're inside.
inside seating is no, that's all.
Outside seating.
Well, I want to make sure I'm getting.
Don't even
this-
mention it. Just don't even mention outside, just inside seating.
Hold on. So I want to, because I feel like I'm getting it conflicting. So Mr. Solicitor, I want to make sure.
Correct. My recommendation is, you can't have any intention of allowing it if you guys are outside.
For the.
For the delegate.
For the.
Okay. All right, so just to clarify what I just said about the seating, it's expressly prohibited that there be any seating inside or outside for the delicatessen.
Correct. Is what an act that legislature had down the last 2 years that there are no restrictions on inside dining. Inside dining. People have had spending outside dining. Because we gave that permission.
I think the point is moot because it's not a restaurant. So I think, I understand where you're coming from, but it's actually a moot point because it's not really a restaurant. And COVID is a special
And that's,
But I just don't want
thing
to.
where if that happens again,
You can't set an outside dining.
Yes.
State is throwing lots of money to outside dining
for restaurants, correct?
for everybody.
well, okay, like I said, I'm acting on the recommendation of the solicitor. I'm not changing the verbiage on the dining, and I think that's it.
Right, are there any other additions or amendments? Is there a second? Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, I'll see a motion passes unanimously for special use. Go talk to the council about your other ambition. Okay, there are no. There are no scheduled administrative matters. Anyone have any? Thing they need for the research?
I would say, Andrew, site visits from Councilor, those comments from our last meeting. Very difficult. Neighbors come out, they can't really see what they want to do in some ways without a lot of the property. Bring that up, because I think, I didn't realize how tough that might be. And, no, but you get a view on.
We may have, it may be that we as a board need to schedule more site visits. If we feel that we weren't able to gather adequate information. Standing on the public way, and I want you to try. Right. We can ask for like. We did exercise, we should exercise caution over stadium. Because we don't have enough.
Yeah.
Information, particularly with regard to matters of field. So I think feel that, yes, maybe it does relate to a point or something, but it's probably the best interest to. Yeah.
Because ideally, they could have. There's no.
Yeah, we're about to adjourn.
Yeah, maybe.